You know, CED is an organization with a great history of worrying about business and worrying about economic development. And I think the CED report, really puts an exclamation point on the fact that women on boards is a competitiveness issue. And it's an issue of U.S. boards leading companies to be globally competitive. And so I think that really makes this a different study and a very positive one.
I think this issue and the report have been one of the most provocative conversations, or have provoked one of the most interesting conversations in the boardroom in some time. The whole issue of diversity is finally, I think, getting the level of attention that it deserves. And ultimately, it's really an issue of competitiveness. And I think CEOs and board members are standing up and paying attention to it.
Every organization, every company wants to be a destination point for talented managers, talented leaders. You can't do that if you exclude half your population. Roughly 80% of all consumer decisions are made by women. 60% of car purchase decisions are influenced by women or made by women. So it benefits you to have that perspective in your management, on your teams, and in your boardroom.
One of the other factors that I think a number of companies have taken a look at is who's making the household, who's making the decisions, the buying decisions, and that it tends to be in a number of, for example, in the consumer space, that the consumers are female, so that if you really want to understand who your consumer is, you would be smart to be thinking about that in the makeup of your board as well. It's certainly a factor.
This is not a supply problem. There are many capable women who are board ready, so to speak. It's a demand problem. And I think it's really important that the companies and their boards just increase the call to get more women in their ranks.
We need to start looking at more non-traditional experience sets. If we're going to stick to we want them to have 30 or 40 years of business experience, then we can't be surprised by the fact that there's a smaller number of people who qualify. But in fact, we have found at Kelly there's a tremendous range of experiences very useful to have on the board, and a lot of those held by people with less work experience.
I'm always on the lookout for great talent. I don't care where it comes from, what gender, what racial background they have. I want the very best, and we've been able to attract that across the board. And then you have to mentor them, and you have to be engaged with talent reviews, periodic talent reviews, and look to position young men and women of all sorts of diversity to ensure that we're getting the very best in our toughest, most challenging, and most contributory positions.
I think what we need to do, and what I would urge us, as the CEO community to do, is to re-engage on the topic. When we were focused, we made great progress, but we're just not quite where we all want to be. And one of the ways that we can get that refocus in place is to endorse the CED report, pay attention to what are the particular types of initiatives that leads to great outcomes, and let's get us to the point that we truly can cross it off the list, and where gender diversity isn't a goal, but is simply an assumed given.